And how I talked to Sam and why I got involved was because my daughter, anytime something happened, my son is in the same age group as Sam. So Sam knows everybody and knows everybody in town. The kids, I mean, not the adults, knows everybody. So when my son was struggling in school, I asked my daughter to contact Sam to find out what was going on with my daughter or with my son at school. So I've talked to Sam over the years because I need to know what's going on because he was struggling in school, which had nothing to do with Sam. But I knew that Sam could find out what was going on.
Did she tell you, or did she keep it to herself?
No, she nothing ever happened. No, it was my son just being my son.
So I've been going back over the Michelle Sutton video and just listening to that little snippet that I've just played, something occurred to me that is actually quite interesting. Why did Meghan Cole insert herself into the Kylie Rodney case? Well, the first version she told us was that she was standing up for the kids. Then she also alternated that with she was standing up for Sammy, referring to Sammy as the underdog. Much, much later, she tried to tell us that she became involved because she needed to stand up for her daughter. That was much, much later. That's only within probably the last 6 months or so. But the whole premise of her story of becoming involved because she wanted to stand up for Sammy falls apart because of this one thing. Meghan Cole has said that she spoke to Sammy and she's confused. She doesn't know whether it was the night after the party, like the Saturday night or the Sunday night. She gives different accounts. But so it was over the weekend. It was very early in the piece that she apparently spoke to Sammy with regards to the party. But here's the thing, at the same time, she basically then turns around and says that nobody knew anything publicly about Kylie being missing until the Monday because the locals thought that she must have just got herself in trouble and gone off somewhere to sober up. In which case, Sammy wouldn't have been on the radar when Meghan first decided to talk to Sammy about the party. Because she spoke to Sammy over the weekend, and yet by her own account, there was no coverage of Kylie being missing until after the weekend. So she wasn't talking to Sammy to be able to get Sammy's story, to stand up for Sammy. At the time when she spoke to Sammy, there was, if you follow her accounts and her timeline, there was no need to stand up for Sammy at all. Because nobody was looking at Sammy, because Sammy hadn't done any interviews, because the media hadn't become involved at that point in time. So that makes me ask the question, why did she decide to speak to Sammy so very early on? If she didn't need to speak to Sammy so she could be Sammy's advocate, then there has to be another reason why she spoke to Sammy. In that clip that I played at the start of the video, I think that she inadvertently told us why she spoke to Sammy, and by extension, why she involved herself, why she inserted herself into Kylie's case. In this conversation, she poses the question, why did I talk to Sammy? And then, and I think the reason why people actually overlook this is because of the typical Meghan word salad. She does seem to jump, well, she doesn't seem to, she definitely jumps all over the place when she's talking about things. But if you listen carefully and look at this logically, she's actually quite linear in her explanation here. When saying why she spoke to Sammy, she launches into an explanation of the times when she's had to speak to Sammy in the past because of things that have been going on with her son, and she wanted to get the inside scoop from Sammy about what was going on because she knew that Sammy would give her the answers. Was Meghan actually inadvertently telling us that her son did attend the party and that he hasn't told her anything about what happened at the party? And that's why she spoke to Sammy. Because otherwise, I can't quite figure out why the need to speak to Sammy over the weekend before there was any spotlight on Sammy, meaning that it wasn't even a consideration at that point that Sammy needed someone to stand up for her.